Good evening. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing okay. Uh, Here we are, Wednesday, and we're going to have a good discussion tonight. Lots of things to talk about. So we will do that, get that rocking and rolling here in just a moment. But before we get going into anything, I want to remind everybody this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we're not going to have them. All right. So I got to address this one first. Oh my God, I got to address this one first. Okay. So if you watch my earlier video today, I made a joke, and said that Trudeau should apologize for the the smoke coming down and affecting the United States of America. I was joking. Somebody said, "You're an idiot if you think that Trudeau is going to apologize, for a natural act of God." And I'm like, "Oh my God, people, please." Okay, so let me reiterate. I was joking. I was making a joke. I obviously did not. The it was more of a joke for the tree hugging climate activist type of people. Okay, so all right. So what we're gonna talk a little bit first about what's going on in Canada right now, guys. There's 400. You didn't hear that wrong. You heard that right. Okay. Yeah. Some people have no sense of humor. Exactly, Joan. See, I'm way too sarcastic, and so sometimes people don't know if I'm joking or if I'm being serious. But I do believe that I said in that video, I'm kidding, right? But I guess I didn't get that far. But anyway, um, anyway, right now there's over 400 wildfires burning up in Canada right now. I mean, that's no joke. The Yankee game, all right, that was going to be played tonight in New York just got canceled uh, like a couple hours ago because of the poor air quality with all the smoke and stuff like that. So here's something I want you to think about. And again, we're going to put this into perspective, okay? And this is for all you folks out there that the cow farts and us cutting our emissions of this, that, or the other thing are going to make a difference. So, a couple things I'm going to bring. So, first of all, there's 400 wildfires going on right now in Canada, right? Obviously, that's a really bad situation. My thoughts are obviously with the people in Canada that have to deal with that if they're losing their homes and they're having issues and stuff like that. All right. With all that smoke and everything that's affecting right now in the Northeast, I don't know if you guys saw this one or not, but the temperatures are also being affected. It's going to be 10 to 15 degrees colder than normal because of the dense smoke, and it's affecting, obviously it's not letting the sunlight get in and those type of stuff, right? In Southeast British Columbia, Canada, we don't have any smoke. Wow, okay. Thanks for letting us know that, Janet. I appreciate that. But, you know, obviously there's a lot of issues. I spoke with a friend of mine um, up in New York in Rochester. She lives in Rochester. And they're warning people up there not to go outside if they don't have to, to wear a mask if they go outside. She said, if you go outside right now, she said, first of all, she goes, it smells like burnt plastic, is what she said it smells like. And she said, you instantly have a headache and you instantly feel nauseous. Now, I want you to think about that. You're going outside and you're breathing that type of stuff in because of this. Now, I was actually talking to one of the guys in my group, and he said the bogs, like the peat moss up there, that's what causes that type of smell. Not know. So I was very appreciative of him telling me that. I spoke with smells like maple syrup in New York City. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Yeah, but she's in Rochester and she said it smells like burnt plastic, which I know. I talked to Heather Obviously, she's south of Rochester, and she said, you can smell it. She said, but it just smells like a campfire. And Yeah, that's one way to get rid of toxic waste. Exactly. But so there's a lot of issues with that, and it's affecting. Obviously, it's affecting the weather. It's affecting the air quality. It's affecting people's breathing and all those type of things, which is serious. I mean, that is serious. And again, up in Canada, you have a lot of people that are losing their homes. They're having to evacuate. You have 400, and it's kind of, somebody said in the comments, it seems kind of suspicious. And I don't disagree with that. 400 fires going across the whole of Canada right now. Um, Absolutely, that's suspicious. You know, were some of them set intentionally? Wouldn't shock me. Every year, like in the United States too, every year you're going to get firebugs that absolutely love setting things on fire, burning things up, those type of things. They can't get enough of it. I don't even know what's going on with that. Yeah, whatever happened to that missing where that missing fertilizer went? That's a good question because that was a lot of fertilizer. That is a good question. Where did that go? Right? What do we got? 250 in the chat already, but I'm only seeing 75 thumbs up, which is a terrible number. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, folks, please do so to show support for the channel, and I do appreciate you doing it for that reason. Also, makes a huge difference with the algorithms. The more interaction that we have, the higher up it pushes us up in the rankings. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit more about this, and I'm going to give you some other updates, I promise. Okay? But so you have that stuff going on right now, right? So that's affecting air quality, it's affecting the weather, and that type of stuff. And I can't remember, somebody had sent me the number, and I just had gotten it, and it was in the comments too. And I can't remember what they said. It was the number of volcanoes that are going off right now. Huge number of volcanoes around the world going off right now. I know the one in Hawaii just started going again as well. So those also affect air quality. The amount, I think it was like 90, I think is what they said, if I'm not mistaken. It was 90 volcanoes right now around the world going off, putting all this emissions and crap up into the atmosphere, and which again, yes, it does affect the weather. It affects the planet. The pollutants from volcanoes alone in a single day, in a single day, is actually more pollutants than we're doing in this, in the entire world, because of what they're putting up into the atmosphere. So for all of those that want to, go completely green with everything, stop everybody from burning wood, you know, what's that going to change? As long as those, wood stoves are efficient, you know. So there are three volcanoes. One is starting in Virginia. One is starting to wake up. Well, I know that they're saying there's one up in Massachusetts as well that's starting to wake up as well. So a lot of stuff going on, guys. Again, the planet doesn't care what humans want to do. The planet is going to do what the planet is going to do. If we're in the way, it doesn't make any difference. Okay, but one of these, again, there's many super volcanoes around the world. Obviously, Yellowstone is a very, very active super volcano. One of those puppies go, we're looking at literally 10 years of what they would call a volcanic winter. It would put so much stuff into the upper atmosphere that it would affect the weather, that we would be in winter for 10 years straight. Now, I know as a prepper, been prepping for a long time, I do not have 10 years worth of food set aside to take care of any number of people, let alone one or two, right? Who has 10 years worth of supplies of food, okay? So you got to think about that. I mean, obviously, if one of these big ones go off, it's a game changer for everybody. But I'm stubborn. I want to survive. I'm going to do the best that I possibly can to survive. So those are things that you have to think about. Try to plan for the best way that you can. I mean, hopefully we don't have the super volcano go off. That would be a very bad day for the world. regardless of where it went off. Okay, so but a lot of activity going on, a lot of stuff being put in the atmosphere. So if you're thinking that cow farts are causing the planet to heat up, well, guess what? The volcanoes are going to have the opposite effect. They're going to put so much stuff into the upper atmosphere that it's actually going to cool the planet. Just putting that out there. Take it for what you want. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay. So, all right. So, update on Steve. Steve is doing much better. I went when I got home tonight. I went and changed his dressings. Wounds look good. They look like they're healing up. Really, really well. I now technically he's scheduled to work tomorrow. I told him, I said, dude, you know what? You better just go ahead and wait until next week. Give yourself the time to really heal up before you're trying to go to work. He has on this shoulder here, okay, literally from like here down like this, up and around, that whole area is black and blue. I mean, it is just, and I checked his collarbone. I'm not seeing any break in the collarbone. He has range of motion, so he can lift his arm up and stuff like that. So I was checking all that. Uh, he may have broken ribs. He's got some obviously that pain on that side, but there's no bruising, so that's helpful. Okay, but he basically, so what we had talked. He said that he headed out for work. He remembers leaving for work. The next thing he remembers is me coming into his cabin and waking him up. Okay, he has no recollection in between there. So it's the bike is, other than the chain is off. I think what ended up happening, he must have hit some gravel or something. I don't know. No, it's not an electric bike. Nope, he does not have an electric bike. He's on antibiotics. Yep, he is on antibiotics, so that part is covered. So no, there's no punctured lung. There's nothing like that. Like I said, there's no bruising in that area. He's got scrapes on both elbows. He's got a scrape on the back on the one side. So he's got a hole, basically, if you can't call it anything else, up here on this part of his head. Uh, you know that got ripped open pretty good. His hand got ripped open. No, he did not have a helmet on. The hand got ripped up really, really bad. So he got beat up. I mean, he got beat up, and so he looks much better. He sounds better. He's still a hurting puppy. He is still a hurting puppy. But he watched the videos, that I did, and he says, "What's with some of these people?" I'm like, "Dude, what do you want me to tell you?" I said, "It's something that we deal with all the time." So he's like, "All right," you know, but it's like I said, he's doing much much better. He has to heal. He's got to heal, and he's going to be sore for a while. I'll tell you right now, he is absolutely going to be sore for a while. All right, so now we'll give you a bees update. All right, going to give you a bees update. They're doing great. I opened up the top, looked in there yesterday, I believe it was. They're going to town on the top box. What I'm going to have to check is I'm going to have to actually move the top box over and look in the bottom box and make sure they filled everything. Because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll fill up like 8 of the trays, but they won't fill up the outside too. And he goes, basically, and I talked to them about that. What I talked to them. Yes, Prep Rebel, I did get them. They just actually came in. I stopped at the post office today, and I did get them. So thank you very much for those seeds. And I will put them all in that area where the bees are, so that they can, get them. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, but anyway, so I got to check that. And if they haven't, I'll just take a tray out of the top box that they've got done, put it down in that bottom, and then switch that one up into the top one. That's what they told me at the bee store, because I did stop at the bee store today as well. Um, it's possible as cause of loss of consciousness was the cause and not the result of the accident. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. But he's perfectly with it. He's perfectly fine. The electric fence I do have. I don't have that up yet. That's going to go up this weekend when I have a few more hands to help me, so that we can kind of put it all up at the same time. So that's going to happen this weekend. So what I did is I stopped at the bee store today as well. I bought the next box. The third box is going to be it's not as big as the supers, okay, and that is going to be where they'll and I have a bee or a queen extractor. No, queen separator, I think is what they're called. Where so what'll happen is now I'll take that top the lid off. I'll take the the flat excluder. Yes, thank you very much. Queen excluder. Um, I'll take that the top small part off, and you guys have seen that. I'll take that off. I'll put the queen excluder on the top of the second box. The third box will go on top of that, and then I will re-put the other pieces. Yes, he did find his phone. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happened with that in just a second as well. So so that's what I'll be doing with that. Now that's probably not going to happen for maybe a week, 2 weeks, because they're working on filling out that second box. Once they get that second box filled out more, then I will put the queen excluder on, and that'll go on because she won't. She's way bigger than the other bees, so she won't be able to get up into the third box to lay eggs and stuff like that. So because you don't want that, you want that to be all honey in that third box. Now that's their honey. Now what will happen is when we get to where we're getting ready for winter, you take that queen excluder out. So that way, that's where the food is. That's where the bees will be trying to get through winter. Okay. No, they haven't swarmed. Nope. No problem with swarming. Basically, Larry, what they told me was if you keep the bees busy, give them work to do, a job to do, they're not going to swarm. And so that's basically what we're making sure that they have work to do. They have to fill these boxes out. And so I'll do another bee video here when I go up there and when I check things. I will do another video of what's going on with the bees, and I'll explain some more stuff at that point in time. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going with what the experts that have been dealing with bees um, and stuff like that. I'm going with what they're telling me to do. So I'm gleaning whatever knowledge and information off of them that I can to make sure that we're successful and that the bees thrive and that they do really, really well. Okay. So going back to Steve's phone. Steve's phone. He didn't have his phone. I tried to call it. It wasn't ringing in his house. So what I did is I called Randy because he had picked him up. He knew where the accident site was, and I said, I gave him Steve's number, and I said, he probably lost his phone there. If you could look, I would appreciate that. And he said, yeah, I'll go up and I'll call the phone and see if I can find it. And then he called me back and he was like, well, wait a minute. Steve had his phone with him when he was in the truck. And I went, oh, okay. Well, I'll see if I'll look around here again and see if I can't find it, down at his place. And then Randy called me back and said when Steve had gotten in the truck, he had dropped his jacket and he had set his phone down and his phone ended up in the back of the truck. So that's where his phone was. So his phone is fine. So Randy brought the phone down and and gave the phone back to Steve. But like I said, Steve has, obviously he had some kind of a concussion or blackout episode or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but he's like I said, he's cognitive. He's doing well. He's feeling better. Like I said, again, very, very sore, and he's going to be for a while. So, but you can get 3 or 4 plants from one seed potato, depending on how many eyes. Thank you, Okie Forge, for that information. I do appreciate that. Probably, an episode of amnesia from the trauma. A lot of times when trauma happens and it's bad, your body will shut down to protect you. That's just a fact. So he had a Biden moment. Oh my God. He had it way worse than Biden did. I can tell you that right now. But yeah, it was. I mean, we've been friends for a long time, and there's 9 days difference in our age. Okay, so I'm 9 days older than Steve, and so I told him because he's always telling me all the time, "I'm going to outlive you," and I told him, I said, "Dude, you keep having these bicycle accidents, you're not going to outlive me." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to outlive you." I go, "No, you're not." So we've been going back and forth with that. It's been an ongoing joke for many, many years, that he's going to outlive me. And I'm like, nope. No, I don't think he was hit by a car because if he'd been hit by a car, there would have been damage to the bike. And there really isn't any damage to the bike other than the fact that the chain is off. So, but, uh, but yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of what is going on with that there. And but he's like I said, he's doing better. The bees look great. They're doing fantastic. It's weird. It's like I went out 2 days ago and they had to change out their water. And because it's been like today was more overcast, they hadn't finished. I went to go change their water today and they hadn't finished it yet. So I'll obviously in the morning I'll have to do it tomorrow. But so the but the it's they were I was a couple bees that were a little more aggressive the other day, and but then it sounds weird, but then I talked to them and told them I'm not a threat. I'm here to help, so don't worry, everything's okay. They left me alone. I don't even know how to explain that, but it's almost like know that I'm not there to hurt them, that I'm there to help. So but yeah, they're fun. I really 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 like the bees. They're a lot of fun. So I did want to address like one more thing with the whole situation that like happened with Steve. You know, if you want to put it into an SHTF situation, or even let's go back to the 1800s, folks. Let's go back to the 1800s. There was no hospitals if you lived out in the middle of nowhere in the 1800s, right? There was no hospitals, so you dealt with situations on your own. Now, obviously, we're not in a situation now where we don't have to get help if we don't need it. But when you have somebody that is perfectly with it, they know who they are, they know where they are, they know what day it is, all that type of stuff, and they say, no, I don't want to go, you're not making them go. You can call the ambulance, you can call the police, and they're not going to go. They will tell you, the EMTs will tell you, the police will tell you. So, they'll both tell you you can't make a guy go if he's with it. So as soon as they realize that he has his faculties, now I'm going to tell you again, and I'm just going to reiterate this one because I think this is important. If Steve had been Logie, if he had been out of it, okay, if he had been confused or any of those type of things, I'd have packed him up in the truck and taken him to the hospital. All right. I do know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time. I know how to evaluate somebody. I know how to assess somebody. You know, it, it's 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 second nature. It's not something that you forget. You know what I mean? So yeah, Okie Ford said, "Edge is a medical professional. You know what's up." Exactly. So believe me, I monitored him a ton to make sure that there was no regression, that there was no something going on or anything like that. So he was in good hands, and obviously, he's fine. So I mean, he's not fine, but he's getting better. He's getting better. So, um, but yeah, it's just people are going to think what they're going to think, and that's perfectly fine. You know, and that's fine. People want to cast their judgments and say what they're going to say. That's okay. I'd like to see your credentials. I actually had somebody. And I'm going to address this one too because I was like, what? So I had somebody say, well, are your certifications up to date, and do you have your license? Because if you don't, then you're not a nurse. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. And so they said, you can put yes or no in the comment. And so what I did reply was this. Okay, this is what I replied. I said, not that it's any of your business, but yes, I have my license. Everything is up to date, and I'm good to go. Now, having said that, if I was completely retired from nursing and I let my nursing license go, right? That doesn't mean that I stop having the knowledge that I had and be able to do what I need to do in a nursing situation. All right. It doesn't mean like, oh, no, now whatever you say doesn't count. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Once a nurse, always a nurse. Yeah. You don't forget your training. You don't forget all the things that you've seen and done and had to do through the years. Those don't go away. You don't automatically all of a sudden forget how to do something. So, yeah. But again, like I said, people are going to have their opinions, um, and that's perfectly fine. So, yeah, a piece of paper does not define your knowledge and experience. I'm going to tell you what, guys, and I'm an LPN, and I love that when people do that too. Are you an RN or just an LPN? Okay. I can tell you right now, through the years, the number of RNs that I have trained, you hear what I'm saying? How to do, take care of vents, work on vents, because they had no experience, they have no knowledge of that. They don't teach that in school. It's something that you pick up when you're done with school. I got vent certified when I was working for an agency, and then you go through the training, and now you're qualified to work with people that are on ventilators. Because here's the thing: when you work with somebody who's on a ventilator, it's life or death if you make a mistake. Okay, just being 100% honest. And I worked with plenty of people that were on ventilators, and I knew how to play, or play the game, if you will. So when you have that experience and you get somebody coming in new that really doesn't know, don't matter if they're an RN, LPN, it doesn't matter. If you're giving them knowledge and you're helping them, guess what? They don't care that they're higher than you. It's that experience. It's that experience. If you're a brand new RN right out of nursing school, and I'm going to tell you right now, guys, okay, some of you may agree, some of you may not agree, but I think my nurses will agree with this, okay? You're a brand new RN out of high school, or I'm not sorry, out of college. Got your 4-year degree or your 2-year degree for your RN, your BS or your S, whatever it is that you have. Okay, so if you have your 2-year degree, you come out of nursing school, you got your first job, you don't know squat. You really don't. I mean, you have the basic stuff. Okay, you got the basic stuff down, but to be in the field and be hands-on, you better listen to the people that have been there, that know what's going on. And it could be another RN, it could be another LPN. It don't make any difference. Okay, if they've been there and they got that experience, that's who you should be listening to because they know the deal. I'll give you a quick example. When I was in nursing school, okay, so I'm in nursing school, and I was a CNA for 5 years before I became a nurse too. So I had that background going into nursing school. So we were doing bed baths, and there's a process while you're in nursing school that how you give a bed bath. And I was looking, I'm like, well, that's not realistic. That's not how it is, right? And so when I would say that to the instructors, I'd be like, I'm not trying to be critical here, but that's not realistic. I said, that's not how it is in the real world. And they're like, Ed, we know you're coming from a background, yeah, sponge bath. You're coming from the background. You've been in the field. I know you've been a CNA for 5 years, so you've been out there. You know how it is. But this is how we have to teach it for school. And I went, okay. I'm like, okay. Unrealistic. You wouldn't have the time, honestly, to do it the way that they say. You know what I mean? But yeah, you have to play the game. Yeah, it sucks, but you have to play the game and you have to go through it. Yeah, exactly, Don. You're exactly right. But that's exactly what it was. I can remember, and I'm not. I'm like I said, I'm not. I've always been a person that I will always help. If you come to me and you ask for help, I'm going to help you. Okay, that's just the way I've always been. So when I was in nursing school, I think we were in our last rotation, and a lot of the girls would come to me and they would ask me questions that they didn't want to ask the instructor. And I had the instructor. She came to me and she said, Ed, listen. She goes, I know you know what you're doing, and I know you know your stuff. She goes, but the girls really need to come to me to ask the questions, not come to you. And I said, I get that. I said, but if they come to me for help, I said, I'm going to help them. And she said, I understand that. She goes, but they really should be coming to me. But they didn't want to go to her. They didn't want to go to her. You know what I mean? Yeah, incoming cherries always need help. Absolutely. But that was, I mean, and I am not a know-it-all, and I don't think I know it all or any of that type of stuff. Okay, I don't. Okay, we can always learn more. Okay, I'm putting that out there ahead of time. And after I got out of nursing school and got out into the field and started working, I mean, my knowledge base, because of the years, of doing it, obviously expanded. I learned a lot. I saw a lot of stuff. I saw stuff that I can't unsee. All right, but that's all part of it. You know what I mean? And so, that's what that's all about. So what do we got? 336 in the chat. We're at 196 on the thumbs up, guys. Um, so if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. Again, it really does make a big difference with the algorithms. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So thank you for that reason as well. Really appreciate it. So make sure you hit that again. The bell icon is important too. Um, hey, you can get PTSD just being a nurse. Oh yeah, I mean, you know, nurses you're getting punched, kicked, spit on, slapped, called every foul name that you could possibly think of in the book, you know, and that's the real deal. So I just happen, some of you may not think so, but I got a pretty thick skin, and I can put up with a lot of stuff and stuff once in a while. Yeah, I go off on here once in a while. Stuff irritates me. Stupidity irritates me. Okay, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not, I'm a human being. So it's like I just try to do the best I can. I try to ignore a lot of the idiots if I can, but once in a while, I got to go on a little bit of a rant or a vent, and I get it off my chest, and I feel better afterwards. So, you know, but anyway, that is that. Yeah, thick skin and hard head, exactly. Definitely hard headed. Um, yeah. Once I set my mind to something, you might as well forget about it because you are not getting me off that. So that is definitely for sure. But yeah, it's just like I said, we can like I said, supporting each other. The beard still looks like it needs taming. Nah, it's gonna keep growing. I'm gonna let it grow. Right? I don't have anything in it right now. It's just natural right at the moment. So, but no, I'm gonna let this grow. We're gonna see what it turns into. I got to get to the point. I got to get back to where I have like, you know, put a rubber band here, and then just keep it going when I start riding because it blows. It definitely blows. So the beard says senior discount. Well, I'll tell you what. If you go to IHOP, International House of Pancakes, the senior menu is 55 and older. So I'm like, I'm in. It's a better deal. It's a better deal. So, but anyway, uh, preparing for the unprepared, the unknown. That's basically. I think that was the topic. Not that we've talked about the topic at all, but there was other things to discuss. I thought that stuff that's going on with the fires is very important, and it just goes to show the lunacy, honestly, of these, green and again with the whole green initiative. And I mentioned this before, and I'm going to mention this again. If we go completely green in the United States, right? We set the way, we're the guiding light of green and all that type of stuff. Number one, they're not prepared for it. Number one, the infrastructure is not there to support all the electric cars that they want to do, all the other stuff that they want to do, restricting you of doing this, that, and the other thing. So if we went completely green here in the United States, it's going to make zero difference. Zero difference. You know why? Because China ain't on board and India ain't on board. And those are the two most populous countries in the world. So they're going to continue to build coal plants. They're going to continue to dump crap into the ocean. You would think, oh, America's one of the worst for dumping stuff into the ocean. Nope. Nope. It is. I think India is actually probably higher than China. for dumping crap into the ocean. All right. So, yeah, it's just if everybody in the world is not on the same page, if everybody's not on the same page, it's never going to work in the first place. And until they can realistically do things where it is viable and able to do it worldwide, it's never going to work. It's absolutely never going to work. And like I said, our infrastructure can't support it, so it's just not realistic. And how many trillions of dollars would it take to overhaul? Um, yeah, and it'll be worse for Americans, exactly. So, but yet, volcanoes and forest fires and all those things are still going to happen and throw way more pollutants in the air than we would in a year as a country. So it just goes to show the fallacy of that. You're not hearing now. You're not hearing the tree huggers and the people that want to go green talking about all the volcanoes, do you? You ever hear about them talking about how bad the volcanoes are and how much crap they're putting into the upper atmosphere on a daily basis? Do you hear about that from those people? You sure don't. So until they want to address everything and you want to get everybody on the same page, then I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And don't expect me to, uh, yeah, but yet they want their what was the state? I can't remember what state it was. Wanted to have a cap on how much red meat you're allowed to eat. I mean, it's insane. That's insane. We're not. We should not have the government telling us what we can do and what we cannot do. That's the problem. That's the problem. And you have too many people that are okay with the government being completely and totally in control. And I'm not one of them. Never going to be one of them. I'm a little bit of a nonconformist. I don't know if you guys have picked that up. If anybody's been watching for any length of time, yeah, no. I'm a big believer in you do you, I do me. If you're happy with what you do for yourself, knock yourself out. You want to go out there and hug every tree out there? Great. I want to have a relationship with my forest. All right. I want to be able to make it viable and not put a bunch of chemicals and all that other crap in there. But, I want to be able to live my life and do what I want to do. And, without you telling me what I need to do and how I need to live my life. Absolutely not. So I always said this. If God did not want us to eat chickens, he would not have made them so delicious. That's it. So, but yeah, that's that. So anyway, let's continue on here, guys. Uh, and everything. What is it? Everything tastes like chicken most of the time. So, but preparing for the unknown, there's so much that we have zero control over. That we're just like these fires right now up in Canada. Going back to that is an idea. You know, you can't predict that something like that's going to happen. Now, if you lived in California in certain areas, then yes, you could say most likely we're going to have forest fires, right? That's realistic. But certain places, it's not the norm to have the different type of fires that are going on there. If you live down south, you're not expecting. You might have an ice storm here and there. You might get a little bit of snow, but you're not expecting to have huge blizzards in the south. But you are in the north. You know what I mean? So you when you're preparing, you can't say, okay, it's just like doomsday preppers, which I think the concept of it is good, but the way the format of what they do it is wrong because they want to put preppers in a bad light. So they force the people that are on that show to pick, I am prepping for XYZ event. Well, that's not what we do. That's not what we do. We prepare for whatever may happen. We don't know what's going to happen. That's why we prepare. It could be any number of things. So, but what the little shows want to do is they want to discredit preppers, make you look like you're crazy, and be like, well, the chances of that happening are so minute. Why would you do that, right? That's what they want to do. So that's all part of that game. But again, if you ask a true, like I shouldn't say a true prepper, even those ones that they've had on Doomsday Preppers, if you went and asked them, are you really only getting ready for a Yellowstone event? They're going to be like, absolutely not. But that stupid show made me pick one reason, right? Or the financial collapse, or an asteroid hitting the Earth, or whatever, they use is the reason for, or the next ice age, or whatever the case may be. Could there be another ice age? Yup. Will there be at some point? Yup. You know why? Because what I've told you guys before, the planet goes in cycles. It gets hotter and it gets colder. That's a fact. That's proven. They've taken ice cores way, way up in Antarctica, and they've proven, yeah, this period was warm, this period was cold, this period was this. They've proven that, okay? And in mankind is not really making that big of an impact. Do we have some of an impact? Are we poisoning our oceans? Are we poisoning our water and all that type of stuff? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, absolutely. We are absolutely hurting the planet, but we're not making that big of a difference because of cow farts and all that type of stuff. We're really it's insanity. If you look at the real research, you know, um, like I said again, you have to make your own choices of what you want to believe. If you want to believe that climate, whatever that it was global warming for a while, and now it became climate change. You ever wonder why they stopped calling it global warming? Right? Is there a reason for that? Now it's climate change because when you have snowstorms and the ice caps aren't completely melted yet, you got to change the narrative. So, like I said again, um, you have to believe whatever you want to believe. They did a chart when they showed the chart how the planet's warming up, right? Oh, look at this. Here's this chart. The planet's warming up. Well, if you took that chart and you went back another, I think because I saw this, that they did an extended chart. So they took this sample size and showed, look at this is where our research is showing. Look at the planet's going up, so the temperature's here. But if you go back like 400 years back this way, you will see that the planet was actually cooling down. So it just is what it's going to be. Planet's going to do what it's going to do. Um, I've said before, yeah, the climate has been changing since day one. Exactly, exactly. I agree with that statement. That's a great statement, and it's always going to. You're going to have periods where it's going to be warmer. You're going to have periods where it's going to be colder. Yeah. Is there more intense storms because of whatever the weather's doing? Yep, I don't disagree with that. You know, if we have an El Nino or a La Nina, that affects what the weather patterns are going to do. It affects where with the jet stream, whatever the jet stream is doing. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with that one. Like I said again, I'm not telling you you have to believe what I say and that's it, and I'm the expert. I'm not saying that. I'm just sharing information. If you believe it, great. If you don't, you don't. Hey, Patty, treats for Hella from my dog Willow. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate the donation, and I will definitely get her some more treats. Actually, I'll show you what I give her. The guys sit over. If anybody sits on the couch, they have to give Hella treats, and I'll show you what she gets. I cannot believe she didn't get up because I got the bag. Let's see if she's gonna get up. So anyway, this is what I give her: the begging strips. Oh, now she heard the bag. Hold on a second. We'll go ahead and give her one. What do I got? What do I got? I'm gonna come up and say hi to everybody. You gonna come up and say hi? She's like, what are you doing, Dad? Okay, come here. Come here. Come on. Well, come here. I don't know if you can hear her tail wagging away. Come on. Well, come here. You take that nice. We'll do that one more time. Easy. Easy. Good girl. All right. So, anyway, so she loves those. So I usually buy, I had 2 bags. So this is what I got left of that bag. And so when that bag is gone, but usually if anybody's sitting over there, like it's usually Steve that's sitting there. And she knows if you're sitting in that spot, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's one of the guys that comes down for the weekend. If you're in that spot, she will sit right there, and she'll be like, okay, give me a treat. And they'll be like, why is she staring at me like that? I said, because you got to give her a treat. So, Joe, I do the same thing for bacon. Do you sit nice, Joe? Do you take it easy? Oh yeah, she'd eat the peanut butter bacon ones. Yep. Oh, egg count time. Yes, thank you, JJ. Look at me getting off track. I know it's shocking that I get off track. I know it's terrible, but you beg. Okay. Um, all right. So how many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Thickneck. So let's do that. So while we're doing the egg count, again, if you have not shot a thumbs up, please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time. Also, again, it really does make a big difference with the algorithms. So again, if you do the thumbs up, that really helps the channel that way. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you ahead of time for that. All right, so I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses, and we will go from there. And in the meantime, I will do another salute to JJ with this wonderful green tea. So, all right, give you guys just another minute to get your guesses in. All right, if you had the same guess, is Amy Horn with 6 eggs, and yes for Miss Thickneck, then you are 100% correct. So congratulations to Amy Horn. You've won absolutely nothing. Bragging rights until the next live stream. But yeah, so that's a good thing. No, I haven't seen any smoke at all. We were a little overcast today, but that was just the forecast, the way that the forecast was. There's been no smoke down here at all, so I must be in a good spot. So anyway, uh, so let's see, where were we? I was going to tell you something else too. I had another thought popping in my head. No, I'm actually not going to incubate eggs, just because it's actually later in the season. One of the ladies in my group said she has pullets right now. So as soon as we get something built, the Hawaii volcano just erupted. Dawn, I saw that too. Yep. But again, it's like so we're gonna get something squared away for the chickens and get those babies going. The problem was, if you're gonna, and I read the information afterwards, of course, because that's how it goes. But it says if you're gonna incubate eggs, they can't be older than 4 or 5 days after they were, after they were laid. So, and I have orange sky in the morning with the wildfires. Wow, yeah, I can imagine. But I always let them sit. Well, my chickens that I had up in New York were not very. They were not broody hens at all. I had no broody hens. So nobody ever tried to sit on a clutch or anything like that. So hopefully, whatever I get down here, excuse me, they'll be more broody. So that's my hope. My turkeys have about 3 more weeks and they're going to be processed. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But again, prepping is about preparing for whatever may happen. And that's something important to remember. There is no one certain event that is the prominent thing that may happen. Now, again, in my opinion, strictly my opinion, of course, to me, the most likely thing that would happen would be a grid down situation, just because it's our Achilles heel, it's our weak point, or our weak point. And the only way you destroy America, the only way you destroy America is let America destroy itself. That's it. That's the only way, and it would. I will tell you that right now. How is the weather by your New York place? Is the air quality really bad? Actually, it's not. Um, Heather said you could smell it smelled like campfire smoke, but the air quality wasn't bad where she's at. You could definitely see that there was smoke up there and it was obscuring the sun some, but it wasn't that bad. So, big story online today is the destruction of the housing market. It's been crashing for a while. That doesn't surprise me. All right, fortune cookie. Talk. Okay, it's livestock. Let's talk about livestock for a second. The goal down here. All right, the goal down here is to have obviously chickens. That's going to probably be the first thing that we get down here at the homestead. We're going to have meat rabbits, get those set up at some point. We're going to have goats also at some point. I would like to, in the spring, like maybe next spring, if we get it set up. Depends on how things are going with underground. So that if we have the freezer going in underground and get that rocking and rolling, then definitely I would like to get a couple of pigs in the spring, raise them up all year, and then butcher them ourselves and process them. And if we do that, and then take that and put that meat down in the freezer, and that would be something that we would have for when we have our get-togethers. I'd like to get to a point now. I will not have cows on the property. Why not a cow? Good, and I will tell you why. That's exactly what I was going to do. Plenty of cows around in this area. A lot of cows. So anything like that could be bartered for down the road. I would like, and the reason you basically per cow, you need to have about an acre of land for a cow. Cows are a lot of work, a lot of maintenance with that and stuff like that. In the long run, it would be easier for us as a group down the road to say, okay, let's buy a half a cow, right? So we go to the local farmer that's grass fed cows. Uh, Say, okay, we want a half a cow, have it butchered, get the meat, get it set up, and get that all down into the underground freezer as well. And with doing that, we would have that meat available to us as well. So, and I would do that obviously locally and get that done that way. But like, what I want to try to do, anything that we're going to have on the property that we're going to butcher ourselves, to do that so that we can you know, know what it's like and get that squared away, and have, goat milk. Also, be able to have, goat meat if we need it. The rabbits, you can, put them in with food. Also, the pelts can be used to make clothing. I mean, there's so many, positive things that you can do that way. Getting sheep or with the goats and stuff like that as well don't take up a whole lot of room, and you can utilize them as well. So I think that's yeah, and a cow will give away our position, but yeah, but like I said, there's so many cows out here, guys. It's like ridiculous. So that's not a concern right now. Down the road, we would probably be, if it's a true SHTF situation, we would be looking to barter, looking to say, hey, we'll trade you this for a cow, bring the cow back here, butcher it, and and utilize that meat as we needed to. But the more that we can get in place, that we are producing our own meat, uh, raising our own crops, you know, expanding the bees as we continue down the road here, and have those different things in place. Like I said, eventually I would like to have 7, 8 greenhouses on the property. So that would be one thing, so that we could grow a tremendous amount of vegetables. Actually, you know what? I like pheasant as well, and I can get them like Rule King down here. Like, okay, Tractor Supply. When does Tractor Supply have chickens? They have chickens in April every year in April, and then they're gone, and you're not getting any more chickens from Tractor Supply. But Rule King, that I noticed, they sell year round. They may not have as many, later in the year, but they definitely have, those things available. So it's pretty neat, that way. So, but yeah, like I said, it's there's definitely things that we have plans that we want to do, and hopefully we get enough time to get those things in, get those things set up. You can order them from Tractor Supply. Oh, okay. I did not know, Don. Okay, but yeah, if I got them right here though locally, I would just grab them that way. But like I said, the one lady that's part of the group, she has pullets, and she's local, and so whenever I want them, I can go and get them. You know what I mean? So that would be something that I will think about doing. But we got to get that part set up. I want to make sure if we're going to have chickens, that they're in an area where they can be safe, and they can be squared away, and I don't have to worry about it. So, um, you know, that's kind of the way that I would do that. And I would like to have it so that, you know, with having chickens again, that I could take Hella's crate or cage, put it in a run inside, so she has an area that she can go into, that she can, have shelter if she wants it, but then have a nice run for her all the way around the chicken coop, just like we had up in New York, because that smell of her around there will keep a lot of the predators away. So, some of the tomatoes bounced back, Angela. Some of them had to be replaced. So yeah, they're actually it's not bad. Um, Sandy had taken care of that when she was down here the last time. So, but I have my meat chickens on order for after the turkey are gone. I get 30 every year. So nothing wrong with that. If you raise things yourself, here's the key, my friends. Okay, if you raise things yourself, you know what's in that meat. You know what the process is. If you're hands on with the process all along the way, it is, that's the way to do it. It really, really is. So, it's you just I like anybody that's had a garden. Anybody on here knows exactly what I'm going to say when I say this. Eating stuff out of your garden, like tomatoes or peas or whatever it is that you're eating out of your garden, it tastes so much better than something that you buy from a store. There's just something about it. Just like chickens. Okay, the eggs. When you have farm fresh eggs, there is a huge, huge difference in the taste, the coloring, the look of the egg than what you buy from the store, and that's just the way it is. So something to think about. But things from the garden taste real, no artificial flavoring. Exactly. And they're not treated with this, that, or the other thing. Yeah, but especially tomatoes. Oh my God. Homegrown tomatoes and the bland tomatoes that you get from the grocery store. I don't even buy, I'll be honest with you, I don't even buy tomatoes from the grocery store. I won't buy tomatoes from the grocery store. When the tomatoes come in season, I go absolutely nuts. a lot of tomatoes, just because it's the difference is night and day. So and then again, then you can can them, and you can have them to put into a goulash or a stew or whatever you want, and it just like I said, no comparison, no comparison. So, but that's just like I said, we all have to do whatever works for us, you know. But hey, Jeff, good night. But they say they're injecting the store produce anyway. Well, I know that they have like with the apples have like a plastic film on the outside of the apples to make it look better and and stuff like that. So if I have once we get the trees going out here, all right. And actually, I got to show you guys. Well, we're working on a project, and I'll show you that. But it's under a crabapple tree, um, and so that's right there on the property too, which is kind of neat. But when you harvest your own apples or your own pears or your own peaches from your own trees, again, the difference in taste is night and day. It's just night and day. And so, and whatever you have, it makes a big difference. It really does. So, just something to think about. Just again, the more self-sufficient that you can be, it's going to put you in a better position in the long run. And so, know, my thing is preparing for me is putting ourselves in a position for a long-term situation where we would have to stay put, not want to go anywhere, not feel the need to go anywhere, have plenty to do here. I'll tell you right now, if SHTF happened tomorrow, I'm using that as an example. Um, if it happened tomorrow and the group got down here, we could be busy daily for the next 6 months, just preparing, getting ready, putting ourselves in a situation with building defensive positions, gardening, you know, everything that we needed to, you know, but it would just put us in such a better position. Hope we get plenty of time. Hope we get more time to do what we need to do. And I was going to tell you guys this. So I had been talking about over the next several months adding 10 trees a month, right? I did talk about that. Well, I talked with Buzz, the guy that works at the greenery, or the nursery, I'm sorry. And what he said is we don't want to plant in July and August. He said we don't want to plant trees then because those are the dry months. And unless you want to get out there watering every single day, excuse me, he said that's not the time that we want to be doing that. So he said, after we plant the trees this month, we're definitely planting 10 trees this month. He says once we do that this month, we'll not do any in July and August, but we'll have 20 trees in already at that point. Okay, um, and then what we're going to do is like September comes when it starts getting the rains again, we'll plant another round of trees then. So if we get 30 trees planted this year, I would be really happy about that. Really happy about that. So I think that would put us in a really good situation. And then next spring, yep, the muddy list. Hey, it sat out in the rain for 2 weeks. What do you want, right? Um, but just puts us in such a better position. And then next spring, we'll continue to add on. All right. So before we do the shout outs, I'm going to ask you once again for a thumbs up if you have not done so yet. We're at 319 in the chat, 279 on the thumbs up. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. Again, thank you for that. Also, again, it really makes a huge difference with the algorithms as well. So thank you for that reason. And again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications. All right, so we're going to start out with Icky Can up in Canada. Real good guy. I would ask you to support him. He's lived off grid 1 year less than I have, and he's thrived. He's doing great. He's got a lot of animals. Takes care of his business up there. You have Angry Prepper down in New York City. That's Jason. Real good guy. I would ask you to support him as well. You have Alaska Prepper. That's Rudy. So definitely check him out as well. There is Alaska Grand. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance. Two different channels, same guy, building up in Canada, living off there, setting himself up to be off grid up there. Uh, Really good, great builder, and everything else. So definitely check him out. You have Demcad. There is Corporal's Corner. You have Bjorn Hansen. There is 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. You have Bizarriza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles, a very interesting story, a lot of good information that you can glean from that story that he's doing. You have Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast. Good channel, good guys. Definitely go show them some support. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wranglestar Cody. He's been around a long time. Real good guy. Very down to earth. You have Red Poppy Ranch. There's Survival Lily over in Europe, giving you the heads up of what's going on over there. You have Kyle's Cabin. That's Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota doing their thing up there, living off grid. Real nice young couple. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods. Husband and wife team. They lived splits of time between Michigan and Alaska. A lot of good information with their channel. You have Green Greg's Gardening. Got a lot of great gardening tips, a lot of great gardening information. So definitely check him out. You have Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. A lot of really good information with his channel. There is Gray Man Prepping. You have St. Bernard Acres with Joe, or as we affectionately like to call it, Beagle Acres. There is Doug and Stacy. Doug and Stacy have been around for a long, long time. Really nice couple. Definitely check them out as well. You have the Nomadic Movement. They are down in Panama. Nice young couple down there. The Green Dream Project is another really good channel. They are out in Arizona in the desert, showing you how to live in the desert off grid. There is Camping with Steve. That's Steve Wallace, who does the stealth camping up in Canada. Really good guy. I would ask you to go check him out as well. Bush Doctor Survival. There is Monkey Works. You have the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. Real good channel. A lot of great information with her channel. You have Boss of the Swamp. Again, somebody else. Long time he's been around. Great builder. A lot of good information with his channel. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Any questions that you have about the Grand Solar Minimum, he is the man that you want to go see. All right. Very, very smart. A lot of good information. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead, another really great channel. You have City Prepper. There is Lumina Acres, Suspicious Observer, a lot of interesting stuff with his channel as well. There is Bear Independent. You have the Uneducated Economist. There is Bushcraft Bear. He is in the Canary Islands of La Palma. You have Mary Greeley News. Mary Greeley gives you all the latest updates of what's going on with the earthquakes, what's happening with Yellowstone. Really, really interesting stuff. You have Adapt 2030. There is Malachi's Corner. You have Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Not only is he very passionate about the weather, but he is also gives back to the community in a huge, huge way. So definitely check him out, okay? And give him some support. You have Russell Brand. Russell Brand gives you the information, lets you decide what you want to do with it, which I think is the way it should be presented. I like that, so I like Russell Brand. You have Deep South Homestead, another fantastic channel, very down to earth. Definitely check them out. You have The Outsider. There is The Fit Farmer. You have Prep Rebel. There is Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's. Now, Townsend's shows you what it's like to live in the 1800s. I think that's a good thing. It's good information. We should be paying attention to that. You have The Prepared Mind. There is Pinball Preparedness. He is down in Tennessee. You have East Tennessee Preparedness, The Economic Ninja, and last but not least, you have Little House Off Griddy. A lot of great channels out there, a lot of good information. I know you guys are putting other channels that you like in the chat, which is fine. I think we should be supporting each other. I think that is important that we do so. So that's why I do the shout outs, because I think that, like I said, people look at things differently. People have a different perspective. Excuse me. People have a different perspective on life, how they look at life. So to check out somebody else, I think is a good thing. What are we, five thumbs up away, guys, from 300? We got a blast. Let's go for 325. That's 30 thumbs up. We got about 10 minutes to go. Let's see if we can hit 325 thumbs up. So that's the goal, just for fun. Why not? So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up, please do so to show support for the channel. Let's see if we can hit 325 before we jump off of here. Again, it does make a big difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, it is if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So now we're at 314, so we need 11 more. So keep them coming, guys, and thank you for that. All right, let's do this. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge network. Oh yeah, that's right, JJ. Thank you. I'm also on Rumble now too, guys. Even though I haven't made exclusive content for Rumble yet. I will be at some point, but I definitely, definitely going to do that. So at some point. So where's everybody from? We got Dayton, Ohio with Rhonda, Tucson, Arizona with Angela. We have BC, Canada with Janet, Franklin County, Ohio. We have Waterloo, New York with Sharon, Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Forge, Ontario, Canada with Dave, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house, Campbell, Missouri with Antonio, Churchville, New York with Kathy, Bellevue, New England with Deborah, the UP of Michigan with Dawn, North Carolina with Chris. We got Amy in Virginia, St. Augustine, Florida. We have Ontario, Canada, Auburn, Georgia, Michigan in the house with Susie, Virginia, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Maryville, Tennessee with Bernadette, St. Augustine, Florida with Diane, Omaha, Nebraska's in the house with Larry, Indiana's in the house with Susan, Leesburg, Florida with Joan, Union City, Pennsylvania with Richard, North Carolina with Chris, Troutman, North Carolina with Troy, Larry in Omaha, Nebraska, Auburn, Georgia with Denise, Central Texas with Tamara, Jackie in California, let's see, Charlotte County, Florida with James, New York City with Spirit Wolf, Western New York with Canada, Central Iowa with Robert, Southwest Oklahoma with Richard, West Central Ohio with Dale. We have Sherry Ann in Western New York, Jonestown, Pennsylvania with Judy, Mud Creek, Ohio with Joan. So again, guys, we are absolutely all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge network of people. If we ever came together and worked together and organized, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of power. But I think that we have been awoken for a reason. We're not woke. We are awoken because I think it is our divine intervention, if you will, that we try to help people. And I think it's important that we should try to do that if we can. So, what are we at? 324. So one more gets us at 325, guys. We're almost there. Let's see how close we can get. Awake, yes. We have Greenlee County, Arizona with Codster. So, oh yeah, we got to do that. Look at that. I knew you guys could do that. 328 right now. That's awesome. Let's see how, keep it going. See how high we can get before we jump off of here. Like I said, I think that in a post event, we will be teachers. I think that will be our role, honestly. We're going to teach people that have no idea how to survive, how to help themselves. You can't save everybody. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you can take people in and help them as much as you can, I think that we should try to do that if we can. But you're going to have to pick and choose, and you're going to have to be very careful because there's going to be a lot of manipulative, deceptive people out there. A lot of people playing the victim that are not victims. So you have to be really, really careful. Now, if you don't want to help people, I understand that. I do. There's not going to be a whole lot of trust post event. That I guarantee you, there will be very little trust. So, we just have to do the best that we can. That's just my take on that. You can obviously do whatever you want to do, but I just, you know, that was one of the reasons, honestly, why I decided I wanted to do a group too. Many reasons, honestly. Um, that safety in numbers is important. Having like-minded people around you to keep you sane, while everybody else is telling you that you're nuts for doing what you do. I think that's important too, and it helps keep you grounded. What I love, and I'll tell you what, this is one of the things that I love about my group. Okay, so we'll come up with a plan of what we want to do. So let's say, like we'll go with the pavilion for an example, and we will come up with people. You'll be like, well, I think we should do this, and then somebody else may go, well, you know what? If we did it this way, that would be probably better. And you contemplate it and you talk about it amongst yourselves, in the group, and you come to a decision. And I think that's probably the best part when you have a bunch of people looking at the same problem from different perspectives and go, yeah, you know what, I think that this would work better than that and that type of thing. And I just think that that's really, really cool. And so that's why to me it's really important. The collective mind is better than one, absolutely. And again, and having people that know what's going on, you have the common cause, and that's what brings you together initially, that like-mindedness, so that you're on that same page and you see the vision and you say, okay, let's make this happen. Let's, not everybody can afford a bug out location. I mean, land is not cheap. You know what I mean? But never build a high rise. Yeah, I don't think we're going to worry about that one, Mac. Um, but land is not cheap. So if you have somebody that that has some land and they're willing to let you do something like what we're doing here, I think that that's a good thing. I really do. And you've got to have people coming together. In all honesty, if you want to survive a long term event, that's the only way it's going to happen. Because yeah, you can survive a short term event, you can get by, and you can do okay. But what you're going to realize really, really quickly, see a lot of people, even preppers, okay, and I'm not trying to slam preppers either by saying this, but a lot of preppers are not tested. They're not tested. Yeah, you live in your house, and you have your electricity, and you have your creature comforts, and you have all those type of things, and you prep, which is good. It's very awesome, and I'm glad that you're prepping. But when I say you're not tested, you haven't had to experience going without, not dealing with, and I'm not saying everybody, so please don't, well, I have, and blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying some, okay? They haven't experienced what it's like to go without or not have or, realize. See, here's the thing I think a lot of people don't realize. They have this fantasy in their mind. This is what it's going to be like to be off grid. And I'm excited and I want to do it and stuff like that, right? But the reality is, it's hard work. And there's a lot of things. There's always something else that has to be done, and you just do the best that you can. And that's what it is to me. And as long as you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, uh, open to suggestions, you know, having other people go, hey, well, you know what, I'm better at this, and you hand the reins over, and you go, hey, giddy up. You know what I mean? So that's important. So anyway, that's just my take on it. I want to thank my moderators, guys, who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. I appreciate you guys, ladies and gentlemen, that moderate for me. It means a lot. It's a lot of it's a lot of work what you do on all these streams, keeping the riffraff and the scumbags out, people that want to cause trouble. So it really does mean a lot to me. I want to thank all you guys for being here, supporting the channel, and being part of what we're doing, watching us grow and get things done, and that's really cool too. And I do appreciate that. as well. So it's cool too. So I appreciate that as well. So anyway, guys, we are all in this together. We truly are. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we truly will be in much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. I got into a really good conversation with somebody today. Because, yeah, you know what? I like to talk to people. I'm really good at it. um, and, we were talking, she was saying that she'd been down here in West Virginia for 4 years. And so I said, where are you originally from? And she was originally from Maryland. And so I said, well, what brought you to West Virginia? Because it's a curiosity question. And so we were talking and stuff like that. And and I told her like my story, kind of, why I decided to move down here and everything like that. And that I bought the place almost 2 years ago, and been living here full time since November, and I love it. You know what I mean? And so you know, so got talking about a bunch of different stuff, and it's really neat to take that time to talk with people, to find out where they're coming from, where their mindset's at, and what they're looking to do, and how they're treated, and how people perceive them, and all those type of things. So it's really interesting. So, but anyway, guys, we got to come together. We really do. Also, remember, hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. If you work methodically towards your goals, whatever your goals are, it doesn't have to be about prepping, doesn't have to be about living off grid. It's whatever you're trying to do, whatever your hopes and dreams are. If you work methodically towards that goal, you can achieve anything that you want to. What are we at? 346? Got four more. Let's get 450 before we jump off of here. Let's go for 450 on the thumbs up, guys. We need 4 thumbs up. But again, work methodically. Don't listen to negative people that tell you what you cannot accomplish. Don't listen to that negativity. Stay positive, and you're going to be just fine. All right. And that's important. It really, really is. What, 347, guys? We need 3 more. 3 more thumbs up to hit 350. Just because why not? Again, you know, set your goals, set realistic goals, set about to making them happen. Here we go, 350. Awesome. So anyway, guys, be safe. I will see you guys for the next live stream on Friday. So, and I will see you tomorrow in a couple videos tomorrow, obviously. So be safe. Hang in there. Keep prepping. We don't know how much time we got. We really don't. And I don't make those predictions, but I think it's important that we get as much done and do as much as we can as soon as we can. I'll just put it like that. All right. I will see you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One out for now.